Benvenuti, buongiorno a tutti. Inizia il nostro panel. Ok. It's 8 in the morning, a corridor still half asleep. The only sound you may hear is the soft roll of a trolley and the gentle hum of someone's steps. Housekeeping, the invisible heart of every hotel. Guests rarely see it. Managers only often take it for granted. But it's here, between cards, schedules, checkout times, that the soul of hospitality truly lives. And yet, the heart is struggling to keep beating. Let's be honest, the housekeeping department is under siege. Hotels from all over the world are facing a perfect storm. Not enough staff, too much turnover, cost rising, and standards higher than ever. The data already shows the growing scarcity of human labor in hospitality. Despite an estimated 700,000 hotels, the entire global workforce in the industry numbers only 270 million people, just 3.3% of the world's population. In 2023, more than 80% of the hotels in the United States reported staff shortages. And the hardest hit, housekeeping and food and beverage department. In Europe, the turnover rate in operational roles exceeds 30% every year. Why? Because cleaning rooms it's a tough work. It's repetitive, physical, and invisible. And if you combine that with low pay, limited growth, and seasonal contracts, well, you don't just lose workers, you lose motivation, pride, and continuity. The pandemic in 2020 was a game changer. Cleanliness became not just expected, but sacred. Guest expectation skyrocketed. Hotels had to increase their cleaning budgets by 30%. Now, thank God, everything is back to normal, but something changed in people's mind regarding not only hygiene, but also regarding their approach to the job. Meantime, labor costs continue to rise abroad. Due to staff shortage, companies have been competing on offering higher wages in order to stimulate application. In the United States, hotel industry salaries increased by 30% between 2019 and 2023. And yet, recruitment and retentions remain critical challenges, with annual turnover between 31 and 34% every year. In Italy now, cleaning costs are around 18 and 20 euros per hour. And if you multiply that by 365 days, well, math can be very brutal. So what do? We keep asking people to do more with less. We burn them out, and then we wonder why they leave. The truth is simple. We cannot manage 21st century challenges with 20th century tools. It's time to stop patching holes and start changing the system itself. The future of housekeeping isn't about replacing people with machines. It's about giving people the tools in order to thrive. Doesn't work. Non va. Sorry. Well, I go. Technology is not the enemy, it's the missing ally. AI-driven software can predict occupancy, plan schedules, and coordinate departments in real time. Robots can vacuum, deliver laundry, and transport heavy loads, giving staff back the most precious resources of all, time. Doesn't work. Imagine a housekeeper who spends less time pushing carts and more time ensuring every guest feels truly cared for. A manager who doesn't need to chase reports or schedule because the systems already shows what has been done, what's pending, and what's next by just a click. And the team that is connected, informed, and proud of the invisible work they do. This is not science fiction. It's happening right here, right now, in hotels that dare to think differently. But let's be clear. No robot, no app, no AI will fix a company that doesn't care about its people. If we really want to change, to transform the industry, we have to start with a new culture. A culture that puts a human being in the very center. Where staff are not considered as a cost, but care ambassadors. Where innovation is not just about efficiency, like we used to do, but it's about dignity. Because the real revolution is not technological, it's emotional. Because when people feel valued, they stay. When they feel listened to, they do their best. And when they see a future for themselves, they build the future of the company. So, yes, the future of housekeeping will include sensors, AI, data, and robots. But its heart will always remain human. A clean room is easy to imagine, but a hotel where even those who clean feel seen, respected, and proud, I think this is the true luxury of tomorrow. And now, that's the future we are here to build. So let's turn this vision into reality. Please welcome to the stage 3 pioneers who are already shaping the future of housekeeping, where technology amplifies people instead of replacing them. Please welcome Mr. Afonso Perestrello, Director of Sales Unifocus. Carmine Palladino, Chief Solutions Architect, Business Unit Robotics, Alascom. And Javier Gonzalez Cabello, CEO and founder at the Asventech. Thank you. All right, so let's have it. Yes. Okay. So, Afonso, you're the first. Thank you for coming to
Thank you so much.
Florence. So I talked about dignity, which is a matter that I really care. And what innovations have you seen that truly elevate dignity in this department?
Thank you, Claudia. That is a great question. If we look back 25 years, in the housekeeping department, the latest piece of technology innovation is a piece of paper and a clipboard that your housekeepers still today they're carrying. So if you walk into a hotel and you're going to your room and you spot a housekeeper, they're carrying that clipboard. And what that piece of paper tells them is a list of rooms that they need to clean. 25 years later, we're starting to see housekeepers carry either a mobile device or an iPad. So technology has evolved. And as hoteliers, we need to start thinking, adapting these systems into the operation so that housekeepers run a more seamless operation and do what they do best, which clean rooms as quick as possible so that your guests are not waiting at the reception in long queues to check in. Let's look at what technology can do. So those mobile devices today, they're connected to the PMS. So what they're doing, as you can see, the video is playing. This is a system from a company called Unifocus, whereby instead of having those constant phone calls from reception and housekeeping, notifying the housekeeping team that I need this room to be cleaned, either because there's somebody waiting at front desk for the keys to the room, the system is actually telling them that in real time. So it's connected to either Cinque Stelle, it's a PMS that you come across a lot in Italy, in hotels, Opera, Protel. There's various systems that these connect with, and they're telling the housekeepers which rooms to clean, in what order. You no longer have to knock on doors to find out if the guest is checked out. When you're in the room, you have checklists which actually educate your housekeepers what your standards are. So you have pictures with your SOPs, with manuals. So let's imagine that you're somebody fairly new to the operation, you're not familiar with your standards. You have pictures which tell you how certain items need to be left in those rooms. So it is added value. You can report lost and found items. Your supervisors know exactly where your housekeepers are in real time. They're no longer having to run up and down floors to communicate something directly to the housekeeper. And those constant phone calls that you see and your supervisors and room attendants are receiving, this technology eliminates that completely. So your housekeepers, you'll start to see that they're much more productive, much more efficient, and your guests no longer have to wait at the reception in those long queues. So it's a piece of technology that is here to add value to running a seamless operation. If I go deeper into other technologies that you're starting to see in various hotels, these are just a few examples that I'm going to talk you through. Panic buttons. In the US, a few years back, maybe you've heard in the news that actually in the Sofitel in Manhattan, in New York, there was a case which appeared in the news whereby there was a housekeeper which felt harassed, violated, and obviously this contributes to the wellness of the employee. And as hoteliers, we need to start thinking that we need to adapt these technologies to make sure that your housekeepers feel safe whilst at work. So there's companies out there, React Mobile is an example, based out of the US, and they provide your housekeepers with these panic buttons. And so it's essential, it's connected to the security department. Every time I feel threatened for whatever reason it is, maybe I felt sick and I fainted in the room. It doesn't have to necessarily be, I feel harassed by a client. So for whatever circumstance it is, the fact that you have these panic buttons and you're equipping your housekeepers with it is essential. If you look at ergonomics, as Claudia mentioned, housekeeping is a department where it requires a lot of physical activity and it can be painful sometimes. There are certain gestures and movements that your housekeepers do today that can create back problems. This year, at the beginning of the year, when I was at Fitor, I actually saw a company called Healthy Suits. And they've developed, what we call an exoskeleton, which actually contributes towards having a better posture at work. And this exoskeleton, as you see in the picture, is connected to a mobile device, and it will monitor the activity of the housekeeper throughout the day. And what it does on top of that, it actually shares with you best practices and best postures in the future to avoid you having those severe problems which will contribute to sickness leaves as well. So once again, it's another piece of technology that brings value and attracts talent to work in the housekeeping operation. Something also nice is guest presence detectors. So I'm sure you've come across a company called Assa Abloy in the industry. They've recently started to install in hotels guest presence detectors. Now, if you speak to a housekeeper today, they're constantly knocking on doors to find out if the guest is checked out so they can then go and clean the room. You don't want to bother the guest whilst they're in the room. So these guest presence detectors actually identify, they're motion sensors that will identify if there's somebody in the room. From the moment that the guest is no longer in the room, it will notify the housekeeper and front desk that the guest is no longer there, and this allows your housekeeper to better plan their day, knowing that this is where I am right now physically, room 101 is the closest room, the guest presence detector is alerting me that I'm no longer in that room, I can go and clean that room. So it's very time saving as well, because housekeepers are constantly running up and down floors today. We've also got RFID tags. You'll see laundry departments that have these within their laundry items. Very useful for inventory purposes. And I also like to bring the story, something recent that happened in London. A guest was checking out, and actually they had stolen some items from the rooms. And as they walk out of the hotel, we start hearing a beep. Now, the reason why there's the beep is because there are RFID tags in these laundry items. And basically, it's theft. You're removing items that are not yours, not belonging to you, but at the same time, it's inventory. Housekeepers get questioned today, where are my towels? Why have they all gone missing? And sometimes they're actually the ones to blame when it's not the case. So by putting RFID tags, you know where the items are, and also you're tracking that inventory internally. And then we have robots. Our colleague Carmina is going to talk a lot about robots today.
Yes.
But we're starting to see them a lot. They're very useful in housekeeping, especially in public areas. Wiz Robot is a perfect example. The Pullman in Paris recently installed them. 955 bedrooms, quite a large hotel, but they've also got 7,000 square meters of conference facility spaces. Instead of having a housekeeper vacuum the whole conference facility, you have robots that are programmed to save time as well, and you're having a spotless facility space for that. Yeah. So that's a bit about technology.
We have some problem with the slide.
There we go. So now it's
okay. Okay. So let's move on with Carmine. And how did the idea of applying robots to the floor department came about, and what problems does it solve?
Thank you, Claudia, for the question. Let's move to the next slide. Yeah, I cannot.
Well, to start talking.
Okay.
Time.
So, first of all, we have to say that the hospitality sector is a sector that is very complex, is one of the hardest one, but in particular, housekeeping department is really the most complex one. Of course, the reasons are many. First of all, is the high turnover that is facing the housekeeping department. The second reason is regarding the fact that it's very difficult to find high-skilled personnel, housekeeping personnel. Another important reason is the fact that for the logistics sector, also the hospitality sector have some seasonality, so in terms of peaks. And this one is is a very important topic because okay, let me try to. I'm trying, but it's not going.
Sorry, there are some slides that they wanted to show with videos. It's more interactive.
Yeah, sure.
We're facing some technical issues. Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, maybe I will. So as I was saying, also regarding the also regarding, as I was saying, is very complex sector, and as for the logistics sector, also the housekeeping is facing a lot of seasonality, and robots can help to with this peak season. They can help and support the housekeeping personnel. Then I wanted to show a slide where I wanted to show how the different robot can work in the housekeeping department, and how all the robots can share the same environments. We have generally on the market different kind of robots that can help with different tasks. There are robots, for example, cleaning robots that can work for tasks in one. In particular, vacuum, sweeping, scrubbing, and mopping, and they can is not like how can I say, a substitution to the housekeeping personnel, but they are a support, because they can help the housekeeping personnel in a way that can work on the very repetitive and boring task, leaving the time to the housekeeping personnel just to focus on the most important work, the one that where they can give a really added value, and this is very important. Then, except from, let's say, the cleaning robots, we also have another type of, let's say, robot on the market that can help with the withdrawing of the towel, for example, or any other cleaning tools, but also the replenish of the cleaning tools inside the service room, and this is another important advantage. Then this robot, of course, they can work 24/7. They don't get tired. They are not angry. Maybe they don't have like a day where they are in a bad mood. So yeah, it's very easy, and is also, on a software point of view, is very easy to program them. Of course, other types that unfortunately I cannot show on the slide, but we have another type that is not in general regarding the housekeeping department, but we can speak more in terms of the hospitality sector. Robot that can support the hotel manager at the check-in, where they can transport, for example, luggage from the welcome area until the service room of the guest. And then there are also other types that can give the they can work on the service room activities. For example, whenever a guest order a bottle of Coke or a bottle of Fanta, or also the meal, robot can bring directly these the food, beverage, but also documents to the room for the guest, and in addition can also give at the hotel the service room call on the phone number of the room. So yeah, these are the different advantages of the robotic solution.
Okay, thank you, Carmine. Javier, what role can technology play in turning lost and found from a cost center into a guest experience enhancer? Because normally everybody doesn't care about lost and found.
Yeah, so we had a video also based on how this can change, but it's okay. We're based on the motto of the southern countries of Europe, that when we started, it's based on, if it's not broken, why touch it? So all the companies were, this is not a problem until it is. So we started thinking, it's been a long time from now, why we keep on doing in 2025, 2023, why keep on doing the same things as 1995 or 2000s? So lost and found nowadays in most of the hotels is just something that you find, you put in a room, and it has to stay 6 months, 1 year until somebody claims it. But with technology, this should not be the case, because you know the person that was in the room, you know the person that was that lost it. It might have a value or not. He might have just left it to throw it, or he might left it not in purpose, which is most of the times. So lost and found with technology, you can align with APIs, you can align with technology, we can align, is the previous one? It's okay. You can align with everything to become lost and found instead of a problem for a guest, a quick solution. Because when you're cleaning the bedroom, housekeepers, instead of bringing the item, getting it, putting into the trolley, putting it into a book or the PMS, what we try is take a picture, you know the person that was in that room, notifying that person that you left your passport, you left your teddy bear, you left a lot of things that can be valuable or can be not. But giving the guest the chance to know exactly what they left, and giving them a choice of what to do with it. And not only that, because that's just giving a bit of a solution, we're giving the solution of first, giving the choice of donating to the hotel. So instead of having it 6 months, just give it at the next week or the same week to the person that found it, or giving it to charity. That depends on the hotel. That depends on the client. And also, we've seen giving it in packages that were just thrown by something else and put it in back. We just try to make an experience out of a project, out of a problem. We try to change the view of how we do things. This lost and found is just a detail, but it's how life on our society is working now. We don't have to do only one thing. We need to go further, and we need to create an experience out of every problem, because it's the difference of hospitality and just any service. In the future, everything will be run by robots except the high luxury. But at the moment, what we need to do is focus on putting technology at the service of humans, to change every bit that we can, because that's an advantage that we have as hospitality against Airbnb or different services, is giving an extensive service of what we do to create a value and a difference of what we do. So what we focus on those little details that we've been doing it and repeating it for a long time, but we don't have an answer of why we do that thing. We just want to make it better. We want to make an experience. And at the end of the day, if you provide that service of an active way of saying, hey, you lost this, do you want it? You don't want it, or you have a friend that can pick it up. We give you the options. If you want it, we put you the couriers, you pay, and the hotel receive the notification that in 24 hours will be picked up, in 48 hours will be with the owner. If you do that, then you can ask for the client to give you a 5-star review on your hotel, because you've solved a problem that nobody expected them to solve it. And at the end of the day, I think that's the way of doing things. Is we are stuck on the old ways of doing things because of legality, because of many things, many reasons that are not actually reasons. We don't want to touch something that is not a problem because we think it's a solution. But the reality is, now with technology, everything can be automated with one click. Instead of losing time with calls, instead of losing time with many things, just making a different way of thinking and making a problem into a solution and into a guest experience that the hotel doesn't even have to waste money. It's just a click, putting and making an experience out of a problem that the guest will have. And that's basically what we are based on. It's every single detail that we do, think a purpose and solve it, instead of just, no, this is something that is there because of no reason. And that's our philosophy of changing lost and found into a 5-star review to the hotel, just by putting the name.
Yes, also another kind of opportunity to turn lost and found in something that is new for hotels, because you can add a new second-hand market, as we were saying. You know.
That was the video. The video was one story that we had. That was a teddy bear that was lost by a client. And by the time she was getting to the airport, she received the notification. So in 24 hours, the kid had already the teddy bear. And I told the hotel, do it better. Put some candies, put some things. And by the end of the day, when the mom received the teddy bear with the candies, she was so happy that she sent us a picture and to the hotel a picture with the kid with the teddy bear saying thank you for bringing it back. And for us, that's the purpose. It's surprising the people with small details that nobody expects from it, because we're not used to changing our ways. We need to do something different and something better to impress, because that's what's going to change between hospitality automated and hospitality with humans. And you need humans to make it human, but you can help with technology to make it easier and faster for everyone. That's our view.
Great, thank you, Javier. So, Afonso, back to you. Do you think that smart scheduling would be the new secret weapon in hospitality in labor's crisis?
Definitely. Earlier on, you shared some statistics about the labor shortage. What we've seen actually is the trend where people have moved away from hospitality and started to work for Amazon and Uber, which offer them work-life balance. Housekeeping has always been perceived as a department of long hours, poor pay, very time-consuming. This is one of the reasons why people have moved away, and it's hard to attract that talent again. So definitely smart scheduling is, I'd say, one of the key magic factors to attract talent. Why aren't we asking individuals, what are your preferred schedules? Maybe I'm Maria, and I have to take my kids to school at 9 a.m. in the morning, and so I'm not able to be at work at 8 a.m. like some hoteliers ask us to do. Maybe I can't work over the weekends. Maybe I'm studying, and so I have a postgraduate degree which I need to attend in the evening. So it's very important that we're questioning our employees, what are their work preferences. There's tools out there which allow housekeeping departments to schedule more intelligently and more efficiently. So today, if you ask housekeepers how they're scheduling, they're still using Excel. It's the 21st century. We should be innovating. We should look into new tools that actually automate schedules. There's a lot of guesswork involved as well with scheduling. But how many times have you walked into a hotel and you've actually asked, why are all my housekeepers or even receptionists, this could be across any department, why do I have 15 housekeepers come in at 7 a.m. when actually the busiest moments of the day only start around 11 a.m., which is where the peak is, where most checkouts happen, and then also check-ins around 2 p.m. With our system, we have this concept called flow patterns. So with flow patterns, we're fetching data from certain data points, such as the point of sale, your PMS, your revenue management system, and we actually understand what those peaks are. And this helps you schedule more intelligently and more efficiently, because you're telling people when you need them at what time of the day. Also, what we hear from the housekeeping department and employees working in the industry is that there's no career growth plans, and we're not actually giving them, the right skills and the right opportunities to grow in the industry. Why don't we cross-utilize our employees? Even though I'm working in housekeeping, why don't I give them additional skill sets to work in other departments of my hotel? It's not just about cleaning rooms. It's actually using technology to understand data, to grow and also to make certain decisions that will empower me to have a fast-track program to becoming, let's say, a general manager or fulfill other duties in the hotel. So when we talk about the staff shortage that we have today, scheduling is something which I think we should be looking into in more detail, making sure that we understand employees' preferences, having that work-life balance as well. And at the same time, hotels are never understaffed or overstaffed, because we know exactly what those peaks are. So as an individual, today I have a schedule on a piece of paper. If I'm sick, I have to call my manager. Sometimes I have to WhatsApp them. Sometimes it's 5 calls until I get an approval from the manager saying, okay, you're sick, we're going to replace you with somebody else. And then you need to find that replacement. And so it's very time consuming. With our technology, and there's other softwares that do something similar, you have your schedule on that mobile device. If I need to call in sick, I can communicate this with my managers through the mobile app. I can also swap shifts. Maybe I can't work today for whatever reason it is. Maybe I have a doctor's appointment. I can actually swap that shift with another colleague of mine who will take that shift, maybe to make some extra money, and the manager receives a notification in real time and will approve that. So having that flexibility of being able to make those changes is essential. And hotels need to start thinking about how we can innovate, how we can make sure that we're providing that workforce balance as well, and also looked as the #1 employer in the market. Because I think if you're listening to your employees, you're increasing that retention levels and reducing the turn down that we see a lot in hospitality today.
Thank you, Afonso. Actually, data, if they are read and treated, can be a great help in order to know where do we need staff, when and how, you know. So, thank you. Carmine, so you say that robots won't replace humans. Some people instead thinks differently. What's your opinion?
Thank you, Claudia, for this question. Yes, I understand the concern about it. But the idea is not, let's say, to substitute completely the human, but support the human. The idea is to support, first of all, the housekeeping personnel in their activities in a way that they will focus just on the most important one, the one that are added value, and leave the repetitive and boring operation to the robots. In fact, based on some studies from companies that, from hospitality companies that already use robots, they've seen a reduce of the 15% of the layoffs into this sector by the housekeepers. Another important point is the fact that to face the increasing of operating cost, it can make sense to invest in robotic service because of the fact that robots, they have a very easy way on an economical point of view, because it's just a monthly fee that the general manager or the company has to pay to get the robot, and with this monthly fee, they have the hardware, the assistance, the maintenance of the robot. So everything is included. Another important point is, of course, the fact that also the customer, there are some customers that are tech lovers, that when they see, I mean, the fact that with service robotics, the general manager, they can also increase the appeal of their business, because there are a lot of tech lovers that maybe for one particular reason they would just want to go to the hotel because they see that the hotel is a technology hotel. So it also helps this aspect, and then all these let's say all this information that I'm giving are a sort of a win solution for everybody, for general manager that, thanks to the service robotics, not only can receive a feedback from the housekeeping personnel, but also from the robots, because thanks to the software of the robots, it's possible to measure the KPIs. It's possible to measure exactly which area of the hotel, for example, are the one that needed some particular task compared to other one, and this really help a lot also to schedule the activities of the housekeeper workforce, also in terms, let's say, of for example, of shifts and area of occupation. So, as I was saying, is a very winning solution for general manager, for customer, but also for the same associate, so the housekeeper personnel, because they find a support during their work.
Have you got some data that shows, for instance, that a maid can clean a room with less time because the vacuuming is
Yes.
led by?
Usually, in terms of productivity, it increased the productivity by at least 20-30%.
30?
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
that's a lot. Okay, very interesting. Thank you, Carmine.
Thank you.
Javier, how can automating lost and found processes improve staff efficiency and reduce operational risk?
Thanks, Claudia. This is the other side of the coin. Basically, we are based on service, and I understand that, but lost and found is a problem that always is a problem for housekeeping. Even directors.
It's a hassle.
It's a hassle, yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's something that they have to keep. There is not much tracking. Some of our clients came from a book, like a written book in 2025, which the whole story is so complicated because at the end of the day, a client calls reception saying, I lost something. Then reception is transferring the call to the housekeeper, which is 2 minutes. Then the housekeeper has to look for the item that they are asking for, which if it's in the PMS, you have to look for the data and look into it. So what we did is sit down with every housekeeper, see how they did the process, and try to transform it into some really operational procedure, which is giving in an app that it's in 10 seconds post an item, which you get the client that was on the bedroom because you got checkout and room number, and they only have to post a picture, which ends up being like a market that they can search for the item when the client comes, and they don't even have to go housekeeping because we try reception being able to see the items, control it, and even making the delivery and the shipment with just a click. That is putting the data if it's not coming from an API. This gives you a centralization that we register the items, but you do the client service. That takes off a lot of process of the housekeeper getting calls saying, hey, you lost this, you didn't lose it. And if it's even proactive, even more. Then also, as we're giving the option to donate, to send it, or to pick it up, that housekeeping is not going to have a room full of items. What we plan is always get the items even back to the owners or back to the person that found it in a week from the time that they found it, which reduces all the risk of, hey, I had this, but I want it now. It's been 6 months, but you are going to give it to me. Which in reality, legality on these terms is a bit odd, depending on the country, but we are following more a trend than a legal advice. And the reality is, a lost and found can become a problem if you lose something that the client had, or because it's not traced. The client might say, hey, I had this, but you don't have a proof of what was it, or if it was in the hotel. So what we do is having a clear audit of everything that was on the hotel, by date, by client, by room. So at the end of the day, the hotel will have a compliance with every single policy that it's meant for that country. And also, we're going to bring a solution to the client that doesn't have to wait to find if they lost it or not. If they want to call to see if they lost the item because they come in a group and they don't have the details, the hotel in less than 20 seconds can say, hey, we have this, what do you want? Give us your email, and it will be solved by you. And at the end of the day, when we started this, most of our clients, when they got the first item asked from the client, most of them, they took time to find it. It was a bit of a chaos, so we also try to understand what's the way of doing things and giving advice to improve it, because there is always room for solution. There is room for improvement in everything that we do, and that's the reason we try to build things. We try to build software that helps making better what we already do in our daily basis. So the reality is, when you put software to track, same getting data, that gives you power. It gives you power to get the data that you want, and utilize it the right way. In Lost and Found is something that it gives you problems and never gave you benefits. And what we want is that, transform it into something that gives you a pro into a client that never expected that, because it's not something that has been done before. It's just getting some problem and transforming into a solution for the client, and the hotel doesn't even have to pay, because the reality is the client is happy because they know it's their fault. It's something that is just same as cabs, as Uber. It's something that was existing, making it easy through technology for the hotel to give it to as a service to the client, not us, we don't want the protagonism. We want the hotel to be the protagonist and say, this is what we do because we care about you even when you left the hotel. So it's a client non-existent anymore that you are going to give an extra service. That's our philosophy on this.
I like it because you can please and surprise the guest even if it's not at the hotel anymore. So you still keep the relationship alive, although it's an issue, basically, that you are managing.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. That's our vision. It's that guest is not in your hotel. You are not going to get their review anymore. You cannot give a service. We're giving a service to someone that already left, and that at the end of the day, my vision. That's not a truth, but we always remember more how we felt rather than what we've seen. But what makes us feel something different, that giving candies, giving a small detail card, making the package beautiful, or giving a good service to something, that is what stays within us, not just the main things, a candle or something. It's more the feeling that we got inside when we get something that we didn't expect, basically.
Yeah, and by the way, I read some stories on the social media that Marriott had this beautiful idea with the teddy bear that you mentioned, and that became viral on the social media. So it became also something that could be advertised in addition to the PAD, the program, social media stories. So thank you very much.
Thanks to you, Claudia.
We still have a couple of minutes. If anybody wants to make questions, we kept these 2 minutes left. If you want to ask them any questions regarding robots or softwares, new software, scheduling, smart scheduling, or anything else? No? Okay. So, all right. I think we finished just a little bit earlier. I'm sorry for the problem with the slides. I don't know why it happened, but that's okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening. Bye.
Thank you.